Welcome to Life Bursts.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Sarah.
Today, another great story of resilience that takes you across the continents.
Well, thank you, Dr. Luc, for coming in on today's show.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We're going to start with the same question we ask all of our guests, which is, where did life start out for you, Dr. Luc?
Thank you very much for your question, Sarah. My name is Luc Mulimbalimba Masururu. I'm from Democratic Republic of Congo, which is a country located in Africa. It is the second biggest country in Africa, with the population of 8 million people.
Wow.
And I was born in a village called Luvungi.
Luvungi.
Yes, Luvungi is a village located in South Kivu province,
Okay.
in Uvira territory. And I was born there at the local health center there. And my life was like normal African young boy. That time in Luvungi, we have not have water in houses. So to have water, we were forced to go to the river, which it was around 1 kilometer from our home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a village boy, and many of the boys who have been born to Africa in village, especially, that was their life.
Mm-hmm.
So have been going, when I was around 5 years old, I started to go to the river and catch water and bring water at our family so that my mother can cook the food.
Is this a daily activity?
Yes, it was daily
Every day.
activity, every day. Even to go to take shower, you must go to the river and take shower there. So apart that, you will go to school to study, and afternoon when you come back from school, sometime you will go to help your mother to do gardening, farm thing, and after that was a time to play with other children. And my family was Christian. So my father was strong Christian, my mother strong Christian. So I have been raising in a Christian family, which helped me a lot in my education and also way of life. And I'm the second born in a family of 9 children.
Wow. You were like your
Yes.
own little friendship group.
Yeah. So when I was 5 years old, I was sleeping and I got a dream. I was at the mountain, because in Congo we have valley, we have mountains, so we have different places like here in Australia. So Luvungi is in valley, so it's not located in mountain. So where I was 5 years old, I got a dream that I was surrounding with many people, more than 100 people at the mountain. And I have been working for people, poor people, to try to save their lives and to help them. And there was many people who have been working with me, helping me to that job. And I come to my father, I tell him the dream. You will imagine, you have 5 years old, you get the dream like that you are somewhere at the mountain with more than 100 people who are working with saving people's lives, helping poor people, changing people's life, and you tell your father that you get that dream at the age of 5. So my father just looked at me and told me, my son, that meaning you tell me that you will be some very important person in your life. And he told me that meaning your dream, the meaning of your dream is that one day you will help people. You will have your own work where you will be serving people and helping people who are in need. So imagine that time Congo, it was one of the peaceful country in Africa.
I was going to ask, what were the houses like and buildings, and what was the lifestyle like back then?
In Luvungi, that time, many houses was like traditional with grasses, but we were a little bit lucky in my family because my father was medical officer, and my mother she was a primary school teacher. So in the village there was educated people, and at least we had a good house with iron sheet and bricks. So our life was good compared to other because as only dispensary or clinic that was there in the village, it was two, one from Catholic Church, another from my father. So from that he make money and build a good house. But other relative, other friends was living in traditional houses made either by timber or grasses, yes, or stick, things like that, like normal African house. Yeah, so, and after that now, I finish my primary school education, and the insecurity start to come in Uvira. It was not so bad, but it was not also good. And my father decided to go in a town called Bukavu, which is like a state town. South Kivu is a province, it's like state here. And the big city is Bukavu. Bukavu is a city of more than 2 million people. And we moved from Luvungi to Bukavu. So I finished my primary school education there. I joined secondary school there. I finished my secondary school education there. And I went to university, which was a Christian university called IEA, Université Évangélique en Afrique, which is a Swedish mission university.
Say that slower. Say that again.
Université Évangélique en Afrique. That is in French.
Yes.
Okay.
Evangelical University of Africa. So it was university started with Pentecostal churches, and because before to have degree you could go to Kinshasa, which is a capital city, or to Lubumbashi, which is a second big city. So people who don't have money, it was difficult to go to university. And one of the bishop of Pentecost Church decided to start that university so that people cannot go far. Imagine that bishop was also from Uvira, from my territory. So I went there and studied medical. And after my first degree there in medical, I went in Kenya. There I was still very young. I remember when I got my first degree, I had, I think, 24 years old. And in Africa that time, most of doctors was more than 60 years. So many people, especially women, so I refused me to touch them or to consult them because I've been seeing me as their child.
Right.
So that is in African culture, that is another thing. when you become very, very young, some of the women who are like your mother, they will not want you to consult them
Yes, that's
or to
right.
touch them.
Fair enough.
Something different. This
but
is the life birth.
yes.
We're gonna take a break at that point in time, and we'll be back with more straight after this.
We're learning about some of the challenges of being a young doctor in Congo. Now, Luke, as you began to practice there, where did life take you from there?
Thank you very much, Matthew. So there, because I was one of the strong Christian, and we had one leader who was the head of Assemblies of God clinic, and he invited me. He gave me a good position to be a medical director of Assemblies of God Church clinic.
And now, how old were you when this happened?
I think there I was around 25 years or 25 or 26 years
You're
old.
still very young.
Still very young. And you know, I was very small. I was very, very small and very, very young. So when you will see me, you will think I have maybe 18 years old.
Yeah. Understanding of your last comment. Yes.
So I start work at Assemblies of God Church and clinic. And that time I was a youth leader in my church. So that time, now we had a war in Congo. War starts in Congo. And as you know, in 1996, we had a war in Congo where more than 6 million people died. And in Congo, most of time, we who have been living in village, we have not having banks. So the only way for your parent to keep money, it was to buy cows. And the cows, it was from generation to generation. And one cow in Congo, even today, is the same amount like here, because in Congo, one cow is around 500 US dollars. It's a good size. And you will find them is the same, little bit the same amount like here. And when the war came, the rebel, because the war started in Uvira district, started in Luvungi village. Luvungi, Sange, Kiliba, all those, because the special thing with Uvira is the only district in Congo which is neighboring to 4 countries. We are neighbor with Rwanda, we are neighbor with Burundi, we are neighbor with Tanzania, and Zambia through Lake Tanganyika. And war in Congo started from Rwanda, and they came also through Burundi. So Uvira district was like a door of the war. But by bad things, the rebel took all cows in our villages. I remember my father had 60 cows, which was also from his father and grandfather. So normally that cows they could give us as a children. And that cows that my father used to send us to university, because when you want to send your children to university, you go to the market, you sell 2 or 4 cows, you send them to university. We don't have scholarships there, like here, even up to now. If you are sick, in Congo, we don't have medical care here, like you will go and government will pay. If you are sick, that meaning you will go and buy a cow or goat or a sheep and go to the hospital. You don't have money, you die. 2 things, you pay or you don't pay, you wait for your last day. And but during the war, many people in Uvira have been stealing their cow. So people, they came back to the poorest of the poor life. So most of people, they start to suffering from malnutrition because of that. And imagine you just come from the war, you cannot go even to the farm, because that war also has been evolving with rape, as you know. Congo is one of the countries where many women have been raped in Congo, and it was difficult for them to go even to the farm because there's different to here. Here you will find the farmers, they live in their farmland. In Congo, especially Uvira, people, they live in village. And they go maybe 2 kilometers, even 10 kilometers to their farmland. Yeah, so they work in morning, they go to do farming, and they came back transporting food, or they transport food or anything on the back or at the head. If you are lucky, you have bicycle, you will go with your bicycle and transport things from your bicycle. So that was daily life. And imagine when they all came, you cannot go to the farm because you are fearing the rebel will kill you, or if you are a woman, will rape you. And that also caused many problems. But that time, we are a little bit lucky. We were already in Uvira town. No, in Bukavu. So you remember I said that we moved from village to Bukavu, but we have been still connecting with our brothers and sisters relative in Uvira, but also that activities was in Bukavu. Even Bukavu, Goma, major cities in east of Congo was been having the same problem. But Uvira, it was worse because it was like a door of the rebel to enter. So after that, my mother became very sick. Very sick. And we took her to the hospital. And the doctor said to my father that my mother will not live more than 2 years because she has heart problem. You know, many people that time, because of that problem, they develop heart problem, diabetes, and those complication diseases because of traumatism, stress, and depression from the war. And that time, my prayer was, I want my mother to see my wedding, to touch my children. When my father came and told me that story, I tell God, I don't want my mother to die now. Please do something to my mother because I'm still very young and I want at least my mother to see my wife and my children. That time, remember, I was also youth leader. And there is some missionaries from America who came to Uganda to do conference, youth conference. So they invite me with the team from the church. I went there. After the conference was a moment of testimonies. And I tell them that I'm here, but I have a big problem because of my mother's health, but I thank God because I know God will touch my mother. I want you people at the conference, you pray for my mother. And they pray for my mother, and there is one doctor who was in that hall, who was medical doctor, and he did specialization in natural medicine. And after conference, he came, he talked to me that, you know, the medicine is already going very far. There is more new technology in medicine. He talked to me about natural medicine. And I told him that I want, because I'm also a medical doctor, I say, okay, and I want to study and myself to treat my mother. So I was lucky, I got the scholarship. I went to Kenya because it was the only country where you can do that research or that study. And after Kenya, now I got another promotion and I start to work at International Center of Physiology, Ecology, and Entomology, which is one of the biggest research center in Africa. My leaders have been impressed from my work, And because I was already medical doctor, I've already knows medicine. In few months, I went back to my country and some good medicine, treat my mother. I don't say so much that is that medicine that heal my mother, but I can say that it's just God who use that technology to heal my mother.
I want to take a break before you tell us if she survived or not. And
Yeah.
we will be back with more of Life Bursts with Matt and Sarah straight after this. We're chatting with Dr. Luc here on Life Bursts with Matt and Sarah. And the question we're all waiting to hear the answer to, did your mother survive?
Thank you very much. Yes, I came back now to Congo and start to treat my mother
Yes.
with prayer, because my mother, she's very strong Christian. She loves prayer so much, and she became okay. Of course, she went back to the same doctor. I remember that doctor, she was from Italy. She was specialist on heart from Italy. So, and she was Catholic sister. When she saw my mother after a few months, and she say, I think you are not the one I consulted here after a few years.
Mm.
And my mother say, I'm the one. Said, I don't see any problem in your heart anymore. And my mother told her that it's God who had been healing me. And in short, my mother participated to my wedding. She saw my children. I have a wife. My wife name is Delis Mulimbalimba. We have 5 children. And she saw all my children, and now she's still alive.
Wow.
So, and that is why I'm very strong Christian, because I have at least testimonies. I can tell people things that God has been doing in my life, because I
Yeah.
asked him to heal my mother, and God healed my mother. So after that, now I came back to my village Luvungi. Remember, when I had 5 years, I get a dream. I got a dream. I was at the mountain, surrounding people, helping people who have been in difficulties. So I came back to my village, and I found there was no hospital. There was just the same health center where I was born. The same, imagine, more than 25 years, it's still the same health center.
Yeah, wow.
There was no medical doctor, just medical officers. So the women with cesarean, they must go at kilometers to be operated. And because, as you know, in Congo, we don't have good roads. So many women, we don't have even ambulance. It's not like here, you will call ambulance in few minutes, ambulance will be there. So there's no ambulance. So if you are at health center and you get a complication to deliver, that thing, they will transfer you to the hospital. And maybe the nearest hospital is 25 kilometers. You don't have even motorbicycle. So many of women have been just dying during the road, and they will bring them back. During the war, because I told you that all our properties, cows, was been stolen, people, they still living in very poorest background. So we started having people with malnutrition, children with malnutrition. Many women who have been raped have been living with depression, with many problems. So when I came to my village, I saw the life of people. I saw that I'm more needed in my country than in Kenya. So I went back and tell my wife, I think I'm more needed in Congo than in Kenya. So my wife tell me, let us go there. We came back in my village. More than 25 years I was not there, coming to visit and going back. We started in small room of 5 meters by 5. It was very small, as a clinic. And we bought 6 acres of land, not in village, 6 kilometers from village, which was a forest. Imagine that place called Itara is at the mountain in Luvungi.
Okay.
And I have not remember about that dream.
Okay.
Every Saturday, we start to tell people to make bricks. We builded the first building, which was a building of 15 rooms. We start to treat people there, to operate people there. My wife was very much involved in women department to give counseling all those women who have been raped. We start Christian radio station because it was the only way, you know, when the country, which is a post-war country, the government radios, they will talk politics and those kind of thing. So we came with the Christian radio called Impact Radio, where we have been preaching the word of God and telling them about the love of Jesus. And that radio helped a lot, many people to come to receive counseling and prayer. And after few years, we managed to change that forest to a suburb. And right now there, we have a hospital of 150 beds. We have a school, secondary school and primary school with 1,600 students. We managed to build a university with medicine, faculty of medicine, agronomy, and IT. Because now our vision, me and my wife, was to help other villages. We still have the road problem. So villages that are in more than 50 kilometers at night, it was difficult to bring the sick people at the hospital. We opened midwifery and nursing school where we are trained youths from those villages. They have already graduated 4 times and they go back to their village and do the same thing that we start in that village. And from there now, we managed to change Luvungi to the village, to the small town. Even last year in 2017, I think 18, the government of Congo, when they saw all development that has been there, the government of Congo changed it at the statute from village to a town. Right now in a government, Luvungi is a town, because the activities that we did there was been changing life of people from zero to where it is now. And one day my father came there. The first time my father, because he was in Bukavu and I was busy in mission, I could go there and meet him and talk with him. So he said, I will come to visit you to see your work. When he came, he saw I was surrounding, because there in Luvungi we have around 200 full-time staff. At the hospital we have around 60 full-time staff. At school we have around 40 something. And other department, community development, there is other staffs. So we have around 200 full and part-time staffs and other volunteer. So when he came and saw all those people working there, that dream that I tell him when I was 5 years old came. And he called me. He told me, you remember when you had 5 years old, you told me this and this and this and this? That is happened today. You know, everything that you told me is the thing that I'm seeing today. And that give me the confidentiality to show that the things that I've been doing there, it was not my dream, but it was God's dream. But God has been just want to use me and my wife to do the things that I've been doing there. And it has given me more strength to work. And when I was in Kenya, I was helping Australian team from midwifery and nursing team. Some of them was from universities here, and others was from Youth with a Mission, YWAM, which is a Christian organization. I have been helping them to do outreaches in medical, nursing, midwifery. And when we built the first building, imagine just God give you a vision to build a hospital, and you don't know where you will get medical equipment. When we finished the building, I write some of the friend here. We have one friend, Julie, Dr. Julie Monisivet. She's a dentist from Mambaka. I write an email, say we have now a building. We need medical equipment. And she contacted some of the mission organization here, and they send us 40-foot container with medical equipment.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, Paulo told the
Thank you.
story because that's a great response to
Yeah.
to a great need. And
No, wow.
we're going to come back and hear more of Luc's story right after this. This is Life First. As we're chatting to Luc and the incredible response to the needs that you've experienced, a shipping container of goods sent from Australia to the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yes, Pastor, yes. So God has been great. Imagine after just building a first building of 15 rooms,
Yeah.
without having a vision where you will get medical equipment. And we just received an email from Australia that there is a container or 40-foot container or full of medical equipment, clothes, that will send to you. So they send us a container. The container arrive at the site with hospital beds, hospital mattresses, chairs, table, theater bed, consultation bed, and we just start the hospital.
Wow.
Imagine from zero, God is just opening doors, opening doors, opening doors. And we start to receive people from even our neighboring countries. We receive sick people from Burundi and from Rwanda, sick people from other neighboring provinces, because one operation like cesarean section in Uvira, it was 250 to 300 US dollars. The operation like appendix or hernia, it was around 150 to 200. And many people in Congo, they just come from the war. They have been stealing all their property. They live under $1 per day. So imagine a person who cannot afford to get 100 US dollar, you ask her or him to pay 150. That meaning you tell him to go back home and die. And we have been having many problems of young people have been dying with the problems that you could operate and they become okay, but because of poverty, they just go like that. And that has been touching me so much and touched my wife so much. We say, let's do something. We started the operation and we started to ask people the contribution of 15 US dollars. Why 15 US dollars? Because most of family, at least in Uvira, they have chicken. And one chicken is around $10. So at least everybody could afford 15. And that $15, it was for people who are poor, who don't have money. But if you come and we know you have little bit you can afford, we will ask you little bit around 40 to 50, which was also a small amount according to things that have been paying. And every day we have been doing more than 6 operations. Even poor people from Burundi and Rwanda, they started to come to our hospital. And for us, we don't see the color, we don't see the religion, we don't see the country. You came, we don't even ask where you are coming from, because God give us a mission to help people in need. we start to do the difficult operation. We got the big good machine like anesthesia and reanimation machines here in Australia that can allow us to do the big operation like Guetta, like clip, lift, and pallet. We are doing it there. By the way, in the district is the only hospital where you can do those kind of operation. We received a wheelchair from Wheelchair for Kids PEF here. We start to give free wheelchairs for the children, families who have the physical handicapped children. And God just touched people, and the mission become big. Another thing that we did, all those women who have been raped during the war, when they came to the hospital, my wife and other counselors, they counsel them. And after giving them counseling, if they are sick, we give them free medical care. And after giving them free medical care, we have been starting to train them. And we have the program of microfinancing where we can give them little bit money and they start small business. Those who are good in agriculture, we train them on how to do good agriculture. We have tailoring school where we are training them on how to make clothes. We are getting a good machine, tailoring machine here in Australia. For those who are still very young and who have been studying at the secondary school, we are putting them at computer training center to help them to learn computer. And that program has been great. Because some of those young girls, when they have been raped, they become pregnant and have babies. And I remember some of the challenges that we have been facing when they came with that babies. Some of them, I remember one woman tell me and my wife, like, when I see this child, I remember everything that his father did for me. And it was very, very difficult because you cannot tell her to leave the child. He is innocent, have not do anything wrong, anything bad. And we realize that when they are suffering, when they don't have food to feed themselves and to feed the child, when they don't have clothes, when they are sick and they don't have money to pay for medical care, they become more traumatized. So now it's like they will think that God does not even exist. Why me? Why is this? And that is why we have not just focusing on counseling. We say let's do something and changing their lives. So we train them, because when they will have good life, even if it's not hard to forget the suffering 100%. But when you have food, you have clothes, you are sending the child to school, you will at least live and not think a lot. And we always tell them that all this problem is not your problem. You have not want to be raped. And this child have not do nothing wrong to you because he has not pushed this problem. And maybe tomorrow he will help you. Or maybe tomorrow this child will take care of you. Just take it like that and see your child as innocent person and love your child. And from that counseling, many of them, they got boyfriend and be married, which helped them a lot, and get now as a child from their married, from that program. And we had a school, primary, because after the war, where more than 6 million people died, imagine how many orphan children that will be there. So we had many orphan children, many street children, and we saw even we can give them money, but will not help their future. And we saw that the only thing that we can do for these children that will help their future is education. Because if we are educating them, we will give them good future. In Congo, there is no free primary school, free secondary school. So you pay money. And it was difficult for us. Imagine if you have 500 children, to pay every month school fees is a lot of money. So it was difficult for us. So the only way that we could manage them, it was to open our own primary and secondary school.
We are here talking with Dr. Luc here on Life Burst. And if anything that Dr. Luc and we have discussed about today has raised any type of issues for you, you can always contact Lifeline on 13 11 14, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll be back straight after this. Now, Dr. Luc, you've had such a full-on life overseas, but at some point you've come here to Australia. So tell us about that. Tell us who your family is and tell us what they're all getting up to.
Thank you very much. You know, when you live in the post-war country, it's not easy. So the community development that we did in Congo, they brought a lot of impact in people. But there is also some politician who was not happy because for them they have been using people to be in power. And you know, when you are living in country where there is some people who are still corrupt, right now we have new government, new president who is working good to try to change things. But in that time, there was many people, politicians who was corrupt. So the work that I've been doing, because I've been focusing in advocacy, also in human rights, to tell people to be responsible, to take care of themselves. And some of the politicians was not happy for the work that I've been doing. And they have been trying to assassinate me so that they can be rid of me.
They tried to kill you.
Yes, to trying to kill me, but God is good. God has been protecting me from all the work that I've been doing for people. And the only way that we saw that we can protect ourselves and protect the family, it was to come in Australia.
I'm sorry. Just rewind back.
Yeah.
So the government, politicians, whatever you're saying, are trying to kill you. Some of them were trying to kill you.
Not all of them, because we have some who are very good. We have some politicians who work for people, but we have some of the bad politicians, especially in that region, in that area, who has been involving in taking minerals. You know, Congo, we have a lot of minerals. And for them, they have been using people to go and work for them, bring goat for them, cows for them. Imagine some person who cannot afford to pay $50 for medical care. You want him to bring you a goat, which he can sell and get that money to improve his life. So for us, we have been trying to protect those people and try, because we have a lot of natural resources in Congo. If you Google Congo, you'll find we have diamond, we have many minerals. But why Congolese are still suffering? Why they are still poor? Why those minerals cannot help the Congolese to come out of poverty? And that was one of our work. That was one of the things that I've been doing every day. And some of those politicians who want to become rich, who want to see people suffering so that they can stay in power, they now organize things, send some militias to kill me. But good thing, God has been protecting me. And we say, let's first come in Australia to rest. After more than 10 years, we have been working day and night. And that is why we are here, me and my wife, Delis, and our 5 children. And we thank God for the Australian, especially Australian from Adelaide Hills. So has been in our side through prayer and they continue to support our mission. One of orphan who we have been supporting is now the leader. So he's now who took my place. So most of leaders who are working at that mission in Congo now, they came from bad background. We raised them. They went to universities and get degree. Now they are the one who are taking care of other people in need.
Wow.
And I thank God for that, to see that we are not there and the mission still going on well. And we still have Australians who are still visiting the mission and who are volunteers there. Last year, before Corona, we had Tom Cecil from Bendigo who went there to teach IT for around 3 months and come back. And we thank God for many Australians who are donating things, sewing machines, bicycles, computers, laptop, clothes. So every day, me and my wife, Delis, we are very busy going and collecting goods from Adelaide Hills, from Adelaide. And we really thank all Australians who are in our side, who are continue to supporting, because even we have been doing many activities, but we still have many people who are there who need the help. And if you want to know more, if you want to know more about our mission activities, please, you can visit our website www.mhcdaca.org.au. Is MHCD, Mission in Healthcare and Development Australia Support Association. That is our Australian website, www.mhcdsa.org.au. So thank you very much for inviting me.
Fascinating, a fantastic story. And I know some of the recent projects that you've had people supporting include the shipping containers, solar panels. You've some very practical things that can be given in support, as well as funds to carry on this work. For me, I don't know about you, Sarah, but the idea of thinking about your economy in cows and how many cows you have, and a lack of cows means no money. It's just the poverty when your cows are stolen. What an incredible need, and an incredible story of you responding to that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Luc. But before we let you go, in the last couple of minutes that we have, if there's one piece of advice that you could share with our listeners, what would that be?
The advice I can tell people, I want just to tell people that somebody you feel good when you are helping your neighbor who is in problem. And in all these years that I'm working in development, I saw that there is not a big thing that you can do than helping somebody who is suffering, somebody who has been living in problems. Because many times you will find when maybe you operate somebody, some woman who could die because of the cesarean, because he could not afford to get $100 to be operated. Some of those women come to me to tell me that, look, thank you very much because you have been giving me back my life. And I always tell them that it's God who gives you back your life. So I just encourage Australians for the good things that they are doing, and to tell them to continue to love each another, to tell them to continue to consider people who are in need, to tell them, you don't need to be in Congo or in Kenya or in other country to do something. Even you can pray for them, or you can do something and you are here, and that person will know that you have been contributing to bring good thing in her life, or you will be one of people who have been saving lives of so many people who are suffering in the world. So that's the thing I could say.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for inviting me here. God bless you. and
You
you are
too.
doing a great job, and I really appreciate the work that you are doing. Thank you.
You too. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you, Dr. Luc. This has been Life Bursts. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matt.
You can catch up with us wherever you get your podcasts from and on YouTube and Facebook as well.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Life Bursts is hosted by Matthew Karat and Sarah Freeman, with production by Reese Jarrett and Kay Hoshro Ozadigan, with additional assistance by Brett Freeman. For more episodes of Life Bursts, go to rawcut.com.au. This is a RawCut production.